Did you have any questions for me before we get started, or for Chris or anything?
No, I think I went through everything, but I'm not sure if the menu is going to work the same as it does on the computer version versus the phone app. So if you want to just go ahead and launch in, that's great.
Okay. Yeah, it looks a little bit, the one I have up now on my screen is not really optimized for being on a computer, so it will look much better on the phone and it'll sit to the size of the screen.
Oh, it looks like Matt's joining us. Why don't we wait a sec until he can connect up audio.
No worries.
He's a new technology committee member, and we're hoping to use him going forward on some things. So.
Okay. We'll go get everybody in on the loop here.
Good afternoon. This is Matt Healy.
Hi, Matt. Terry Faber.
Hey, Terry. How you
This is
doing?
Bill Bross from Beef Consulting.
Good.
Hey, Bill.
Hi, Matt. It's Chris Veith here.
Chris.
Matt, can you see my screen? I have the sample app up right now.
I see it.
Excellent. All right. Well, I guess if you just want to go, I can pull up the modules one by one, and we can go over what we've got so far, and then any changes you might like to see. And then we can just go from there. Does that sound good to you?
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Let's pull these up one at a time. So anyway, this is just the overall structure of the app. You've got this menu right here, and I'm not sure if you've looked at it yet, but you guys are able to control what's on this menu. So you can reorder the items however you want. You can add pages, links, features, all sorts of stuff into it. So what we've got right now is just a sample that you can totally change once you get in there. But I've made all these features members only, and I've already logged in. So what your members will do is they'll download the app and then they'll log in, and then it will tie to their specific registration. And then they'll be able to see their information and attendees and stuff like that. So the first one I've got up here, we've got the conference attendee list. And we'll let this load up here. And so what this is going to do, this page is just going to list everybody who signed up for the event. And then if they tap or click on anyone's names, it's going to drop down as much information as we can get for them. So that'll do things like if they've added like an address or some other stuff like that, that'll all come up on here. So all sorts of them, they can just tap them to close them again. And this will update as soon as somebody registers.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry?
Are those emails, can you click on those emails to pull up launch your email app?
No, but I could make them do that. That's not too difficult.
Okay.
Let me make a note to do that.
I was just curious if you could do that.
Oh yeah, that actually shouldn't be too difficult because that would, as long as it's not handled inside the app, it will launch email or like whatever you got there.
Yeah, mail to
Yep.
Yeah, it should be pretty.
So let me just make a note here to do that. So we're going to change email.
And I'm sure if there was a phone number on there, you could click the phone number and it would call it as well.
Yep, I can do that as well.
All right, cool. Or give a feature for text or call or whatever. I don't know, Terry. Do you think that's
right?
Something too much or no?
On calling, you mean?
Yeah.
I think if they give their cell phone number and if it's on there, you call or text, or if it's their work number, I think it's okay to have that.
Okay, and both of those ones are easy changes, so that's no big deal on my end. All right. Any other questions about this page? It's pretty straightforward.
Nope. That looks good.
Okay. And as you test this, like I said, it'll include, it's not showing right now because I just added these as samples and I didn't add a whole ton of information, but it will also show their address and phone number and stuff like that if it's entered. So.
Good afternoon.
Hi, Mike.
Hello. Hi, Mike.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, it's okay.
Oh, no worries.
He's recording it also for us.
Okay, good. I guess I'm not too
we
late.
just went over the conference attendee list. Yeah, we just got started, so don't worry about it.
Oh, yeah.
We just went over the attendee list here, so it's going to show. Oh, and I didn't even ask you. Can you see my screen all right?
Yeah, I've got my screen up. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Excellent.
Mike, the only question we had was in adding, what does it have? It has the email address, and we were going to add a phone number. if you think that'd be okay and allow to launch.
Make them clickable.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
Click them, you launch.
both numbers for us are cell, and they're both always with me. So the number we attribute to NPECA is the 830-220-3797, and we claim that as office, so we give that out frequently. And then most of the time, calls come back from my cell phone, which is the 2468. So it doesn't really matter both, or especially on conference, maybe both.
Okay. Is that okay, Bill?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as long as we collect a few different numbers, so I could show, I could say if this one's entered, then show this and stuff like that. So that wouldn't be too difficult on my end. All right. Well, let's look at the next one here. Again, this members only list. We've got the conference schedule. I set up something on the back end when you're creating event fields where you can mark things that you want to show up on here. So you can very, very easily choose which events and which fields you want to show up on this schedule. And as you can see, it's going to separate them out by date here, and then by time within that, by start time within that. And any of these, if you tap on them or click them, it's going to show you the speaker and then any descriptions that we've got here. Now, I know one of the questions you had in your email was linking to speaker bios. I actually had an idea of a way to do that. So I think that's something that we can do. If you want to add like some text information and a picture or something about the speaker, I can have that be clickable and go off to a separate page just about that person.
Right. Yeah, it sounded pretty easy to do and good.
Okay, so let me make just a note on that. So we're going to add speaker bios.
Wouldn't you think, Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Go ahead, Frank.
Well, they're talking about the speaker bios, that we would load them in a separate document, and photos if we had them. We don't always have photos for all of them.
But we don't have photos for all of them. We try to get them. But yeah, it's
You can link it to that page or whatever.
yeah. I think
What I would
we
do on
could-
my end is I would make a field for you when you're setting these up. So you put in the speaker name, and then down below that would be a field for speaker bio. So right there, you copy whatever you had in that Word document, picture, text, whatever else, and that's what would show up on that bio page.
Okay, so it won't be an attachment. We'll just copy and paste it in?
Yeah, and then it will be native within the app, so they won't have to leave the app to pull anything up about them. It'll just show up in the app for them.
Great.
Okay, good. Well, I'll make a note to do that. Any other questions about how this page is set up? Or any additions or changes we'd like to make?
Oh, that's it, I think.
Tell me, some of this is still in flux. We don't have any information from our payment side, so we will have to be updating some of this with correct titles and presenters and things like that. So is that going to be something we're able to do from our end?
Yes, this.
I think you're breaking up. I can't hear anything.
Breaking up.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, is that any better?
That's better.
Yep.
Okay. So basically, this will pull directly from your event registrations that you set up. So any fields that you set up and mark show up on here, that's where that's going to come from. So and it will change immediately. So if you change the title or the time or the date, as soon as you change that, it's going to update this in the app.
Okay. That's what we.
Inside the event module?
I think what, Bill, is it that there's a separate, on the phone app, if you go into the content manager or whatever under phone app, there's one that's the current phone app, and then there's the conference phone app that we would go into there to correct anything, or do we go into the event?
You go into the event. If you wanted to change things that were on the menu in the app, you change them within the app builder. But any changes to the actual event is going to happen on the event page. So the event setup where you create those.
Great.
So let me repeat what I understand. When we do what we do on the event pages on the website or on the V's Consulting site, then that is automatically going to update the mobile app.
Correct. Yep.
Okay, thanks.
And I made a special checkbox on the field to say, yes, include this on the conference schedule, because not every field, you're not going to want to include every field on the schedule. So this way you can pick and choose which ones you do and don't want to show up on the schedule here.
Okay.
I like that.
So
That's a good idea.
All right. Well, let me pull up the next one because it's virtually identical. This is my conference schedule. So this is going to look at their attendee record of whoever signed in here, and it's going to show them pretty much the same page, but it's only going to show them the things that they signed up for. So instead of seeing, all the things on every day, it's only going to show things that I personally clicked on and wanted to register for. And I can do the same thing with the speakers here and link those to the bio fields.
Typically, our members do not sign up for a given event. So if we have a concurrent meeting session, we don't know that John Smith is going to be in the contract session and Jane Doe is going to be in the bankruptcy session.
But it would be nice to be able to click and say, I'm interested in this one, so it can come up on my conference scheduling and say, okay, I said I wanted to be interested in this one, and then I could choose to add just a better view of the things that I'm interested in.
I agree completely, but for those that are already registered, or for that matter, even those that register from now on, they probably won't do that until we train them to do that. Is there a way, once they've registered, to go in and assign themselves to probable sessions they will be attending?
Not after the fact. Admins, you guys as admins can do that for people, but we don't have the ability for people to go in and change that after the fact for themselves. So in that case, and we don't really have anything to set up to say, yes, I'm interested in this session, but I'm not going to sign up for it. So if that's the case and you're not actually having people sign up for these things, you may not want to use this My Conference page, maybe, or the schedule page. You may just want to use the main schedule page back here.
Okay. It's a transition year.
Something good for you next year, yeah.
Yeah, it's a this is a transition year. So I think we'll be fine with that.
So we'll have to figure out in the events then how to have people sign up for courses they think they might be interested in.
But we have that now on the event registration. They just don't answer it very often. But we can point it out that if they do, then it will be on their mobile app schedule when they do it in the future.
So Bill, for now, Bill, if they sign up for the golf event or the alternative events that we have, anything that they would sign up for, if they click that they would sign up for, would it show up in here on their conference schedule?
Yeah, as long as they indicated, they checked the checkbox for the field or they picked a selection out of a drop down, then yes, it will definitely show up on their My Conference schedule.
Okay, so we could
go ahead.
Well, we could decide if we want to have a limited view of it to say, well, next year you'll be able to populate it with what courses you want to take and that sort of thing.
Realistically, yes, I think that's a great idea, but realistically, we launch the event page long before we know what the exact educational sessions are going to be. So, I mean, we still don't have 100% of our events. So I need to think about this. We'll talk about it, okay, Terry?
Yeah, Bill, I was thinking maybe we would, in that case, maybe we would start another event just for the courses and have them show up in there. Maybe that's a way to solve that. But we can talk about it, Francie.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend trying to combine two events. I think your best bet is to try to encourage people to sign up within it, or maybe if you go back after the fact and change for them. Or you're right, maybe for next year we devise something where they can go in and add those at a later time.
All right.
I will say this. For the My Conference schedule, like I said, it requires them to sign up for it. But for this overall conference one, you could add all these ones at the last minute, and they would take effect immediately. So you wouldn't have to work, you said before you didn't always know what they were at the beginning. That's fine. As long as you enter them in before the event starts, and you want to use the app, then it's fine.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to the last part I made here. And these are the conference surveys. So this is based on the request where you wanted to set up polls and surveys and stuff for people to fill out after the fact, after some of these sessions and things. So I've just created one here, but you can create as many surveys in an event as you want, and then they'll just show up in here in the list. You can click any one that you want. So first here, we'll click on this or tap on this, and we can fill out the survey. And if they've already started it, you'll see here I've already filled this one out. And so my information already shows up here. So I can change it if I want to at a later time or anything like that. But it's going to save my responses here. And as many fields as you set up here, I pretty much made one of each kind here to show you how they're going to look. But we can add any of these kind that you want here. And then as soon as they click Save It, it's going to thank them for completing the survey. Oh, actually, let me show you something here. It's kind of cool. If you make any of these required, so for example, let's see. We have a required one here. No, we don't have one. Let's see if I can click None. Okay, well, I already filled it out, so I missed my chance. But if you have a required one there, or they haven't filled out a particular one that you want, it will stop them and it will highlight the one that they didn't do, so that you can ensure that you can answer for all the different things that you want here. Maybe we can set up a different one later and look at that. So the next part of this one, and maybe I'll add it to that one, the page where I just clicked to come back to the surveys, is we can look at the statistics here for the survey. So anybody can do this and see the statistics. And it's going to pull up something like this, where we first get these nice little vertical bar charts for everything. If they tap on or hover over any of these, it's going to tell them how many people signed up for each one, or chose each one in the survey. And then we can do cool stuff. We can switch them over to a horizontal bar graph, or we can do a pie chart, or we've got several different kinds up here. So that's just kind of something they can do to see any of the statistics. And you guys have access to this on the admin side as well, in addition to a few additional survey reports. And like I said, it's going to do that for every survey that you set up. So it's going to constantly keep track of these. And as soon as somebody fills out, so as soon as I click Submit and it records my answers, it updates these on the conference app for you. Any questions about how that's going to work?
For the conference survey, it looks like it would work good, but for individual breakout sessions, we have usually a survey for each course they might sign up for.
Mm-hmm.
How would we, so we'd make a separate survey out for each course?
Exactly. So we'd go down to when they pulled up this conference surveys page. Let me wait till this pulls up here. Instead of just having this one conference satisfaction survey, they would see each one in the list here and be able to do the same exact things. They could fill it out or see the statistics for each one added.
Okay, that sounds good. Francie, Mike, what do you think there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Now, do we set these up in the admin side inside the website?
Correct. Yep, it's all set up on the event registration. So there's a separate link when you create an event registration where you can create surveys for that particular event.
Okay.
Good. Very good.
All right. Well, those are all the modules I've made so far. Did you have any questions about other ones or the ones we've looked at, or just anything in general, I guess?
Well, we had this static page maybe that we would want to have we have a committee sign-up forms that we try to get people to volunteer and fill out, and we always have a difficult time collecting those. So I was wondering if the phone app could help with that.
We can definitely make static pages. So if you want to make a static page and put any kind of information on it, you can do that within the mobile app builder, and then we can place it anywhere on this menu right here. So if you just wanted a page of information about the event or anything really, you could create those. Chris, do you know, I'm not as familiar, do you know if we have anything with forums on here so far?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Do you know if we have anything set up for forums?
Oh, I think we may. Let me check real quick here.
It's like we have a committee sign-up form that we'd like people to volunteer, and if we could gather that information from the phone app, that'd be real helpful. Wouldn't you think, Mike, Francie?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I think it will encourage more people to sign up.
Mm-hmm. Well, Chris, I'm not sure if I mentioned before either, but I set this up so that you can change this app every year for any event if you want to. So right now this app is keyed to the testing event that I made. but you can connect it to any event that you want in the future, and all these same features are going to be available. It's going to collect the surveys and the attendee list and the schedule from any event that you choose to link it to.
Okay.
It does look like we have the forms module. There's a part of this that can be incorporated into the app. I'm adding that right now just so we can see what it will do. Oh, okay, here we go.
Excellent.
Yeah, yeah, hang on a few seconds. I'll build something and you'll see it.
Okay.
Cool.
You guys are amazing. I'm sorry. I mean, that's amazing.
Excuse me.
I have a quick question on the surveys. And this, I don't know, Francine, Mike, and Terry, but how many different panels are there going to be for the conference here coming up in April? 20-some?
Did you say panels?
Oh, yeah, in the different seminar, or part of the seminar, I mean the discussion groups and so forth like that. How many surveys?
You're talking about all the breakout sessions and
exactly.
Whether they're a panel or not. You're going to have probably, I'm going to say 20
Okay.
between the payment side and the commercial side. Commercial side does some breakouts, but they've moved slightly away from every session being a breakout session. They do a roundtable, big, mega kind of roundtable session now. It's kind of cool. But the number of individual sessions that members are going to attend, numbers of between 20 and 25.
Okay, so we're going to have 20 to 25 different surveys, correct? And maybe
Right.
correct. Okay, so when you go to the surveys, everything is going to be listed out at once, right?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, is there any way to have them time controlled? For example, say there's a session from 1 to 2 called, Feudal Japan. Is there any way that you can make that show up on the app like 20 minutes before it actually ends? This way you're just not looking at a million different surveys. Does that
yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
It's possible, but it's not necessarily something easy to do. And it might get confusing for people if they're not seeing what the app or the ones they're looking for.
If you're
Instead, what if we, on this conference schedule, I could make it so you can link a survey directly to one of these, and we could have a, take survey or, fill out poll or whatever button right down here within the schedule. Maybe that would help them find it better.
Oh yeah, probably.
yes.
That's a great idea.
Okay.
I just want to fill
like
out
I
a
said,
survey.
it can happen. It's just depending on your time zone and all sorts of different things, the time can get thrown off a little bit. So it's not necessarily the most reliable. But I think this might help people find them a little bit easier if they can't see them on the big survey page.
I agree.
And then that brings up a question: if I'm in a session on Monday morning and because I get busy or somebody asks me a question and so I don't finish my survey, or I don't do the survey, and then I'm at lunch or dinner that night and I think, oh my gosh, I forgot to give my feedback, they still have access to it. That would be good. But if
definitely.
if they completed a survey and forgot they completed it and they went back in, will they be allowed to do another survey, or will it recognize them and say, no, you've already completed this?
Yep, it will recognize them. So, for example, this one, I set it up earlier, maybe even last week. If I click fill out survey, you can see it records my answers from earlier. This is true even if I didn't complete it and submit it. If I just started doing something here, it will record my answers here. So they can always come back. There's no restriction on if they can or can't fill this out at any given time.
Excellent. Okay.
So I just need to
We've
do
got a
here.
volunteer form option added to it, so you can check that.
Load this up here. Okay, sorry. I see this. So volunteer form here. Yeah, so there we go. And again, this is because I'm on a huge screen and not a phone. It's all over to the left, but that'll look much better on the phone.
Okay. So all you need from me are the names of all the committees, or I can do that.
Yeah, you can set these up in the form builder.
Right.
Okay. Excellent.
Great job.
And like the other parts, as soon as you change this, it'll start taking effect within the app. You don't have to do anything extra for it.
Excellent. Good job.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
I'm glad we had that. I had no idea.
Very good.
All right, well, what other questions do you guys have or things you wanted to see on here?
Well, you got a few other things you're building yet, right? I remember seeing you said somebody else was working on some other aspects of it.
Oh, right. Chris.
Sponsor page and whatnot.
The sponsor piece, the easiest way to do that was to put that on the splash page, the part of the app that shows when you first load. So I wanted everybody to see that because then that, we could have, I had this. This is governed by our slideshow editor. So you can have logos in that place that shows these pictures. And that would be the easiest way to put sponsorship on there. Otherwise, I wanted to be able to bring that up. Otherwise, it might be a little cluttered in the rest of the system if we start sticking logos everywhere.
Well, I like it. It's easy, simple, and clean. So there's a slide builder in the phone app, conference app thing.
Right. The builder, the editor is in the website. So if you log in, you go to the content. Let me see if I can show that.
Oh, so it's based on our slideshow for our website.
Right. There's another.
Well, that's okay, because when conference time comes, if we have sponsors, we want to highlight them anyway, so that's good.
And then the other part, I think, was the push notifications. Now that I can't demo because on this is the HTML5 version of the app. It's the web-based version, and it won't react to push notifications because it's not an Android or an iPhone. But if you I suppose I could show you how to send it. Maybe, let's see.
Well, when you think we're ready to launch it, we could do another run through or something quickly on how to do that.
Well, the app, the conference app is available in in iTunes and in Google App Store.
Right.
So if you go out and get it, you can play around with it.
Okay.
I didn't realize. I think
You don't have the conference app.
Well, okay, you're right. We don't have the conference app, but we have the mobile app for the NPECA website.
Right, but you have to have the conference app. That's what he's saying.
Oh, okay.
You have to use the conference app in order to make the push notifications work. To test this, we had to put it out there and republish it. This is using. Well, it's a long explanation, but it had to be done that way in order to allow for push notifications. Bill, can I take over on this and show him my screen?
Yes.
Let's see.
Okay, is it a transfer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Download.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yep. This is the admin area, and under Mobile App Manager, you'll see you've got two apps: your main app and then this conference app.
Right.
And then there's this feature called Push Notify.
Ah.
So, okay. You can send a notification. It's a lot like the messaging, the broadcast messaging feature, But the trick is you can edit your message, subject, and whatever, what have you, and you can pick your recipients. Now the recipients will show a name if they have logged in. If a person's logged in, we know who they are. So you could send a notification to one particular person, or the whole shebang, everybody that's got the app.
Okay.
So that's the short version, or you could resend. So if you want to play with this, go ahead and get the app and go to town.
Can we set up groups? So if we wanted a notice just to go to the finance group or just to go to the board of directors, is that possible?
Well, the tricky part is that in order for that to work, we'd have to make sure that all of those people have logged in.
Okay.
That they've logged in on the app on their device. So I was curious about this and wanted to make sure everybody understood that, because if people are at the event and they didn't load the app, or if they loaded the app and didn't log in, they wouldn't be able to get anything that was related to their identification. So we can send to.
That makes sense.
So if you needed to get out a message about some big room change or emergency, that you'd probably just want to send it to everybody. Or you'd have to check here and see, do we have Joe, Bob, and Mary? If they're all here, then yeah, you know them, you got them, you can send to them.
So here's the thing. I would default to sending it to who I have and let them spread the word. And the more word that gets spread, the more people are going to sign up for the app.
Okay. Well, do you want me to add the ability to send to a subset like board members or other people?
I would love to have a group. Definitely board members, maybe some of our active committee members like our membership committee. We've talked to about the importance of alerting them when somebody that is new to the organization shows up. I don't know, but definitely the board, I would say.
Okay.
Definitely the board. I would like to see payments, and I would like to see two, and I've started to do this on some of my messaging, just payments and just a commercial side. So that, because sometimes, and sponsors. So sometimes sponsors are, we want to communicate, but that's internally here. We've been doing more direct sponsorship kind of messaging, and you guys showed me how to do that, how to segregate those members in that one section of the site. So I've been using that a little bit.
Okay, could you mentioned payments?
The membership.
Yeah, that in your terminology right now, we're transitioning nomenclature from retail and commercial to credit and payment. So same people, but different membership categories. It's easier for us to recognize them. They don't understand. We named them. That's not what they call themselves.
Let me see if I understand. Are you talking about a particular membership plans that these people are in?
Well, everybody's in under a regular membership plan, but we do break them out. We do break them out internally for credit and for payment. But you've got regular; those are called regular members, and then the associate members are usually the not in the trade. They're the folks that are suppliers and service providers.
Sponsors, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We would know who belongs to what group.
Yeah. And we're trying to go through and rename those as we can. This isn't the time of year to really take that on for us.
All right, you're in the right area. So corporate, commercial credit, or retail is the COP. And then the groups would be under the, if they're a board member or whatever.
Right.
Okay. So you want to be able to send based upon these fields or this
COP.
The COP would, right now you've got commercial credit up. The other one is retail, and then commercial credit is basically just credit. Retail credit is now payment because it's not. They're not dealing with credit. They're dealing with risk.
Okay, so by custom field, this is a custom field in our database. Okay, well, I can work on that.
Oh, okay. I mean, you can or I can. I'm not going to have time to do all of that now. Some of them don't even know.
What I'm saying is I can work on the ability to send to people in such a group, but that would when you're sending a push notification. So.
Yeah, right.
And then the groups, like a board, if they're a staff or a board member or whatever, is the other thing they were thinking.
Okay, I've got that written down.
Thank you.
Anyway, I guess I can turn this back to you, Bill, if you want.
Okay.
Thanks, Chris. That was very helpful.
No problem.
Very.
The main question that I still had for you guys was one of the other things that we had on the list was you were going to show like a booth layout of the trade show or the conference. Now, do you have just like a PDF or an image like that, or we actually have a booth builder now, like a conference booth builder we can build in the system? Is that something you were interested in making a mobile version of, or do you think that would just be too difficult at the moment?
That's a Mike and Francie thing there. I'd have to defer to them on that one.
Is this? Are you? I couldn't articulate what you were asking about. Are you talking about the meet and greet, the exhibitor booth kind of thing?
Let me show you an example here.
The general floor plan of the breakouts, and that would include maybe the meet and greets where that was being held at. That kind of thing. General floor plan stuff.
So it's loading right now. Here's just an example of the booth editor we have. What this lets you do is it lets you upload like a background image, and you can dynamically build booths on top of here. So this one's a mess. I've just been using this as a testing one. You can sort of see all the different kind of crazy things you can do with it. So I could either make a mobile version of this, but you would have to build it and populate it and stuff. Or we could just make a page where you could upload like a PDF or an image of the floor plan.
Two, I think. Okay.
Well, I guess this is for the meet and greets.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they can populate it, or we can build it ourselves based on put a logo in there. We're not talking about that many people. I don't know how critical it is, but it would be great to have so people could tell who's at what space when they wander up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where did this come from? Is that something they've already done?
They've got it. This is a booth builder.
Right.
Yeah, this is also tied exactly to the event. So as long as you set it up with a particular event you had tied to the app, it could pull this in also. And then on the public side, let me pull up what the public side looks like, because this is the admin side.
This is
The other option.
On the public side, it looks like this. If you, when you're on the computer, if you hover over these, it will show you information about them. So we can make it if you tapped on them on the app, it would show you things. Then if it's reserved by people, it would do that. The only catch to this is if you want to have them show up as reserved, you have to have people register for them. Or on the admin side, you can set them up sort of as like data ones. So like you could set them up as like a registration table and make a whole booth setup just like that.
Okay.
So it's really up to you guys. It's a little more work to set it up like this, but it's really cool stuff. Or if you just upload that. So really, like I said, it's your preference.
The alternative is to have just a static PDF of each area of the hotel and the names of the rooms of where people are going to go to.
Yeah, I don't know. We can get a floor plan of the hotel and probably put that up in some kind of diagram.
Maybe this is a next year thing. Maybe.
Yeah.
It'll still be. It's not going anywhere. So.
Yeah. It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's really good.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. Maybe for next year that'd be a good thing to set up. But for this year, we can just do a static page and make it a little easier.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I think we've only got 10. I mean, we're only going to have room for 10, maximum 12 exhibitors, if we even want to call them that. But just tabletop presentations. But this would be good, and I could see where our members would appreciate having it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see it as something that's really causing a lot of problems right now. People get in there. There's 2 bars set up in there, and they're wandering around between one of those bars most of the time.
I can see some advantages of simplified, color-coded credit versus payment.
Mm-hmm.
And then just no logos. So let's not worry about logos this year, but just
we can do this. This is there. This is already built, right? So we can play with this and put in the 10 or 12 that we're going to end up with.
Yes, correct. And I would recommend we have help section videos on how to set this up. I recommend watching one of those before you get in there. But yeah, you can set this up for any event that you want right now. It's available and out there. It's just not part of the app right now.
Okay.
It's not part of the app right now.
Okay.
It's not part of the app right now?
Bill?
Awesome.
Oh. Did we lose him?
Maybe he lost his audio.
Oh, it does sound like that.
I'm not sure what happened to Bill. Oh, looks like he may be back.
High-tech cell phone systems here.
Noise or something.
Carrie?
Yeah.
Carrie, are you there?
Yeah. Yes.
Maybe we could have another call tomorrow or whenever you got some time. We've got some questions and not on this, not on the mobile app, just on the program itself. So we've got some things that some folks have asked us about. I want to clarify with you.
Yeah, tomorrow anytime before 1 o'clock would work, or after 3 o'clock probably.
Okay.
After 3 would be better. We've got a funeral to go to tomorrow. It's going to be a messy day.
Yeah.
So you'd rather do it late afternoon?
Yeah, late afternoon, 3 to 5 would be fine.
Yeah, 3 to 5. I'm out at 3 o'clock of this prior meeting, so that'll work.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Are you on Central or Eastern?
Central.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I'll touch base with you. I'll send you an email or text or something.
All right. That sounds great.
Sorry, everyone. I'm back.
That's okay.
No worries.
Hey, Mr. Bill.
I think my phone battery lasts less than an hour now. So.
Well, while we were playing around here the last 10 minutes, I loaded the app, the conference app, and just started messing around with it and tried to pretend like I didn't know anything that was there. It's really cool, guys. You did a good job.
Really nice.
Good. That's great to hear.
Really cool. Just ought to blow their socks off.
I think so. I think it's going to be a real nice.
So we have a recording of this, do you, Bill?
Yes, I'm still recording it. So as soon as we're done here, I'll convert it and put it up on YouTube for you.
Cool. That might bring out some more ideas once we hang up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that was all I really wanted to show for now. Did you guys have any other questions for me about anything, or?
Matt, are you on the phone?
I'm still here. I don't have any questions at this time. No.
Okay, good. You like what you see as a member?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I'm happy.
Okay, good.
Good.
Well, I think that's all. Go ahead, Francie.
I'm sure once we get our members using it and, as many of our members as possible in advance to know about it would be great. But when they check in, we'll maybe come up with some little teeny cheat sheet that we can give them, because it just took a few seconds to load the app. So we'll try to encourage everybody at check-in to be sure and take advantage of this.
I'm still writing. It's Thursday, so I think what I'll do is kind of allude to it with some of the headers and topics and things like that they're going to be able to do, so they can start thinking about it right now and know that it's on the way. When I can, I'm gonna experiment with plugging some logos into where the pictures are on the landing page.
Yeah, that'll be the biggest thing.
Yeah, if that's our only place we can start looking at sponsorship, I may just load a couple on there or several on there since they rotate every time they come in. Then we can start to kind of push our sponsor, our associate members for that kind of.
Well, I'm wondering too, and this wouldn't hurt to have this more than one place, but when you go into the photos, which is open to everybody, and it shows all the old conferences, which is great, but there could be one slide or photo group that's just sponsors for Memphis.
Okay.
And it would require them to go in and look at them, but at least, redundancy never hurts to have it more than one place.
Well, we have to have the pictures anyway.
Yeah.
We'd have to have the logos loaded to the photo anyway.
Right.
So, right.
And I can convert what I've got to JPEGs, and we can do that.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Well,
Awesome.
thanks for your time, Bill and Chris. We really appreciate it. And
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
I was going to tell you, too, I set this up on the sample event. You guys feel free to go in there and mess around with that event, too, and see how I set it up and the different things you can do there. You're not going to break anything. I can always reset anything. So, and then if you have any questions based on that, you can let us know.
All right. I will try to mess with that the next day or two.
Yeah.
Might be a weekend.
And the phone app, the conference app's all is locked down between us until we start going live with it, or is it going to be live if we started sending push notifications and that kind of stuff?
We're only going to. Well, I don't foresee us using push notifications, except primarily for this web app, for this conference app, just primarily at conference. Everything else we do will probably continue to use the broadcast email system.
Yeah, I think you talking about it in general terms, let them know it's coming, is good.
Right.
But let's wait until we send the broadcast out just to those that are registered.
Right.
Maybe a week before, saying, go ahead and load the app now if you want to, and see what happens.
Let me ask one last question. And maybe it's a dumb question, I'm not sure, but if we have members who are not registered and they're sitting in their office, can they download the app even though they're not at conference and see everything and watch everything that's going on?
They would be able to download it, but they wouldn't be able to use some of the features, so like the My Conference Schedule or like the My Surveys thing. They wouldn't be able to use any of those because they're not registered, but there's nothing preventing them from downloading it.
Okay, good. That's kind of what I thought.
Okay.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I'm going to exit now. Appreciate your time.
All right, well, thanks a lot, guys. If you have any questions, feel free just to reply to the ticket or send in a new one, and me or Chris will get back to you with any answers on stuff.
Will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
All right, thanks a lot, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.